Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was the Green Beetle. This is part 5. In the last part, Izuku was going against that of Adam Strange, as he shows off both his support gear and his quirk, with Izuku and Adam Strange actually talking to one another and giving out their own opinions about the current society of Japan and parallels to that of America as well, showing that Japan is a lot more barbaric, actually, where the rest of the world tries to support and help those improve with their quirks, while Japan basically puts strict laws around quirks after all, while the two are sparring. Not only that, they also find out that Kochin, the green scarab, is a lot more different from that of Jaime's scarab, as it has a lot more diversity with that of the host biology after all, than more than just creating that of weapons and gear to support them, because Izuku is able to copy and analyze other people's quirks and incorporate them into that of his arsenal, such as Mount Lady, Kamui Woods, and even Kirishima. Speaking of Kirishima, both Izuku and him basically finally meet face to face, as Kirishima goes to that of Star Labs from time to time to improve on his quirk and figure out better ways to use it, with Izuku giving him that of encouragement, telling him that his hardening quirk is a lot more useful and cooler than he gives himself credit for, causing the two to get along at first meeting. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Months have now gone by since Izuku stopped going to Star Labs to improve and help him get stronger, with that of Kochin, as the two have that of a pretty good relationship now, from Izuku giving Kochin that of ideas and also ways to incorporate their abilities and skills in combat, while also adapting that of quirks, while Kochin helps out with that of giving out tactical advice and that of dangerous awareness. However, sometimes Izuku doesn't really bother with the whole danger sense thing and goes headstrong after all. But even so, they still work well together. Not only that, after Izuku met with Kirishima on that day at Star Labs, the two actually got to know each other from time to time, became pretty good friends, to be honest. Turns out that both of them are quite similar. Originally, Kirishima had that of self-confidence issues due to his quirk and didn't really think it was useful. It also that it didn't help that that he's standing on the sidelines when Gigantomachia showed up. It just reinforced that, actually. But if it wasn't for a certain hologram video that he saw of his idol, Crimson Riot, giving him somewhat of a pep talk that he needed, he begins to stand tall and work out to become stronger, both in combat and with his quirk. But when his parents told him that he can go to Star Labs to find ways to improve his quirk, let's just say Kirishima learned different ways to use his quirk instead of the same old hardening his body for defensive or to deal heavier blows and all that. Turns out his quirk hardening also sharpens his skin, such as his fingers. He can turn his hands into that of jagged blades that can basically cut through things. Well, it depends on how hardened his bladed fingers are. He can also sharpen his fingers even more to create that of, hook-like design that allows him to climb things easier too. And it doesn't just stop there. Right now, with the help of both Star Labs and Izuku, who again comes to Star Labs from time to time just to check up on everybody, such as Dr. Strange and all the other scientists, Izuku gave him an idea that he should probably harden his body even more than what he's doing now. Harden it to the point that he becomes an unstoppable wall, which, after hearing that, Kirishima couldn't help but be impressed and also determined to reach that state of level. Unfortunately, right now, that's easier said than done. Many of the scientists said that he needs to bulk up a little bit more, both around that of his body. The more muscle that he has, and especially around that of density, around that of his muscle fibers, the stronger and more easier it is for his body to get used to his hardening quirk. After this advice, Kirishima is now a lot more capable and 5 steps ahead than he would have been in canon, actually. And it's all thanks to that of Star Labs and Izuku. However, there's also another thing that caused the two to get closer as friends, that being them having that of a mutual acquaintance, that being Mina. Both Izuku and Mina were already close friends. However, given that Kirishima has become a lot more open and also talkative around besides his usual friend group, they've also hanged out around. Both Mina and Kirishima also hang out too from time to time as well. Mina has also been improving and trying to develop her and trying to get ready for the UA entrance exam as well. However, there is one thing that she struggles a bit, and that thing being studying. She really, really sucks at it, to the point that not even her friends can help her study. However, that all changes when Izuku came into the picture. When midterms came around, both Izuku and Mina, alongside Kirishima, helped each other. Sure, they go to that of different schools, but when it comes to their education, it's basically the same. So no reason for Izuku not to step in and help out. And besides, it's the right thing to do if we see somebody basically struggling. It doesn't just have to be hero work that he helps people in. Hearing this, when Mina sees that of Izuku every time when they're studying together, she can't help but see that of an angel come down to the heavens to save her poor soul, after all, from the workload and torturous life of schoolwork. And let's just say Izuku went entirely red due to the way that Mina basically showed her appreciation, that being hugging. And coming from a kid that basically was touch starved and basically emotionally starved only until that of a year ago, well, you could see on how that basically made Izuku kind of turn into that of a bright red tomato. Since then, the three have become somewhat inseparable. They hang out from time to time, spend time together. And Izuku basically made friends, even outside of Aldera. Hell, there were actually a few times when Kirishima, Mina, and Izuku meet up together, with then Kirishima also bring up the fact that he's improved quite a bit, thanks to not just Izuku, but also the Star Labs, where Mina actually was thinking about going at first, but decides not to, as she does well with basically doing her own thing when it comes to improving herself. However, Izuku, on the other hand, wanted to give her at least some advice to improve her quirk's capabilities and efficiency in combat and in other aspects of being a pro hero, with Izuku basically writing some things down for her using one of his spare notebooks, as she was able to get things pretty easily thanks to that of Izuku's note-taking skills, after all, where she soon explains on how her quirk works and on how she uses it, mainly as that of projectiles, and she's also good at dancing, mainly that of breakdancing and street dancing, after all. She was thinking about incorporating that as that of a fighting style. With then hearing all this, Izuku actually brought up a few things that could help Mina improve quite a bit, such as her acid. She just uses it, as she just shown how she uses it as a projectile, just flinging it around actually, without even thinking about how to do so. Just like globs of acid thrown at her opponents. I mean, it's effective, but it's also unaffected as well. She needs ways to also have that of defense and also that of long-range offensive capabilities as well. With Izuku bringing up ways that she could probably use it First option would be putting her hands together in that of certain ways and motions, figure out which way would actually send her acid the longest. So another way is basically gathering all of her acid in her hands, basically clapping her hands together while also using it to create that of a shield to defend herself as well. As for that of her breakdancing, as that of a close range fighting style, best way is that of capoeira. It's definitely the perfect fighting style for somebody like that of Mina. So best she learn some ways to do that. If she doesn't have the money for it, then it's best to find that of videos to help her out. Given that she's a pretty good dancer, she already has that of a head start ahead of the curve after all. So nothing wrong with that, to be honest. With all this new information that she gets from that of Izuku, she couldn't help but be thankful for all of his advice and for helping her out improve even more than before. With again basically hugging Izuku once more, with him basically turning back into that of a giant red tomato with legs and arms. Kirishima, seeing all this, couldn't help but smile at this as well, showing that there are people like him who also want to go to UA and who also want to become heroes to help those in need, instead of just sitting by and doing nothing when people are in trouble. Because every time when he sees both Izuku and Mina, he sees people that he can't help but look up to. Izuku as he's pretty close to that of Izuku, given that they're both timid and shy. They also hearing the fact that his quirk didn't come in until that of last year, making him a late bloomer, made it pretty easily for him to get bullied after all. And there's one thing that Kirishima hates, it's that of bullies. And given that Kirishima was also somewhat bullied, not probably on the same extent as Izuku, but understands how he feels. And given that Mina also hates bullies as well, they can't help but, understand and relate with one another. Mina is somebody that he always admired and always somewhat looked up to, given that she's not afraid to speak her mind from time to time and try to get along with everybody, and always willing to help out too. While to Kirishima, he feels like he's catching up to both of them, but he will. And he's not afraid to still lag behind because he'll keep on chasing after them when he's able to. As the months have now gone by with them spending time together as close friends, however, there is a little bit of dynamic that is a little bit weird, and that being, both Izuku and Mina are pretty close with one another. And the reason being is because, during the times when they were studying, both Mina and Izuku, without that of Kirishima there, did get pretty close and chummy with one another. As when the two are basically around one another, they can't help but, basically speak their mind. Izuku a lot more timid, and Mina a lot more expressive after all, as the two basically explain the reason on why they both want to be heroes. For example, Izuku wants to be a hero just like All Might, being able to save people with a smile on his face, to protect the innocent, because to him, saving others, protecting them, making sure that they're safe is the coolest thing any hero could do. As for Mina, she basically brings to the fact that she wants to be a hero is because it's basically cool. Cool on how heroes save, protect, and look after the innocent, those who can't protect themselves. She always wanted to just help others in need, especially given her past after all, especially when her quirk came in. Sure, her quirk basically to allow her to even use her quirk, her skin had to change to pink after all. So it's kind of a downside, but it can also be a good thing, depends on who you ask after all. But to me, I actually like my appearance and my looks after all. I'm proud of it. Especially I kind of look like that of an alien, don't you think? Then she basically gives off that of a alien-like hiss, almost like that of a snake. But Izuku knows what she's trying to do, as he couldn't help but laugh, actually, at her antics. Then Izuku couldn't help but say, You know, I have never met somebody as well positive, cheerful, so energetic, and quite as funny as you, Mina. To be honest, I'm happy that you and I are friends. You and Kirishima. I didn't think I would actually have any other friends outside those from Star Labs. With then Mina saying, "That's what I want to know, Mito. Tell me, don't you have any other friends from your other school besides just me and Kiri? I mean, sure, you have to have others." But then Izuku looking down before shaking his head saying, "No, I don't. It's just..." Within, Izuku began to bring up the fact about his past at his middle school, especially all the way to elementary school, about him being quirkless and everything like that, to his former best friend, now turned bully, now just turned to that of mere annoyance now that he has his quote-unquote quirk, to everybody who used to bully him, to even the teachers who used to look down on him, now sucking up to him, trying to be his friend or trying to become popular with him because the Blue Beetle, the second ranked highest pro in America, basically acknowledged him, knowing that the fact that they were just trying to manipulate him and just use whatever fame he did have during last year to help themselves. And due to that, he doesn't want anything to do with the school or the people there, and just prefers to spend time with them, people who didn't know about him from the very beginning. When hearing all of this, Mina actually couldn't help but be angry and pissed at what Izuku said, as she can't help but want to beat everybody's butts at Aldera, to the point that she even begins to say that even though he has no friends there, she'll always be his friend, her and Kirishima, and wants to always be there for him when he needs it. Within hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but begin to tear up and be happy that he has somebody else that sees him as a close friend as well. With then the two begin to hug. Even Mina begins to feel somewhat happy as well, feeling like she can trust Izuku with anything, just as he can trust her with anything as well. With the months now coming down, it's now time for the entrance exam, with Izuku now somewhat anxious and nervous about what's going to happen. But then Kojin speaks up saying, "Izuku, remember, you have all of the necessary skills and preparations to perform what you need to do for this exam. Remember that." Within, Izuku saying, "I know, Kojin, I know. But I am hoping that Mina and Kirishima will be here as well. I'm a little worried." Within, soon, somebody saying, "Move your ass, Deku, get out of my way." Within hearing that aggressive tone, Izuku couldn't help but narrow his eyes saying, "Oh, hey, Kachan." With then soon Bakugo saying, "I told you, there's ways around me though. You don't have to just say get out of your way." Within soon getting annoyed saying, "Are you just get going? Look, you can just basically go past me after all. Will that help?" Within soon Izuku just steps aside. Within, Bakugo couldn't help but feel like he's being patronized by Izuku, but then just scoffs off, just waiting for the perfect opportunity to crush him in the entrance exam, saying, "Good luck though. Knowing you'll probably make it in anyway." With then, soon, Izuku couldn't help but sigh, saying, "He never changes, no matter what." Within, Koten saying, "You should. Why not teach him a lesson? Show him on what he needs, the very definition of respect, after all." Within, Izuku saying, "No point, after all. It's not like it's going to change anything." With then, soon, somebody basically coming up behind that of Izuku and clinging onto his back saying, "What's that glum look on your face for? Come on, get excited for me, Mito." With then, soon, Izuku basically freaked out and shaking around saying, Ashido. With then saying, "Hey, No Ashido from you. We've been friends for almost an entire year now. You have the right to call me Mina. With then saying, oh, right, sorry. But can you get off me, Mina? With then saying, oh, boo. With then getting off that of the green net. With then somebody walking alongside that of Mina as well saying, I tried to tell her not to do something like that, man. With then soon Izuku couldn't help but smile saying, Kirishima, hey. With then Kirishima saying, so, you pumped up, man? You're excited? Because I am too. Gonna give it all I got as a true man after all. But then Izuku saying, yeah, I guess I should. Come on, let's go before. As then Izuku was about to fall onto his face before being stopped by that of Kirishima saying, come on, dude, don't get cold feet now. With then saying, right. Just, I guess I'm still a little bit nervous. That's all if I'm trying to push it aside. With then saying, not a good idea, Mito, but I guess it makes sense given who you are after all. As she says this in that of a teasing tone, but then Izuku began to blush a bit. As for Kirishima, not really aware on the two's, kind of attitude with one another after all. Just chalk it up to the two just being friends, to be honest. But let's just say both Izuku and Mina are a lot more closer. Not in the way that you guys think, but at least a lot more on friendlier and closer tones. Thanks to Mina's always constantly clinging onto Izuku, he no longer has that touch-starved, mentality anymore. Thanks to Mina always clinging onto him, spending time with him, trying to make him feel less uncomfortable as always. So he's a lot more, cheerful. Still a nervous wreck and shy around new people. But when it comes to being around Mina though, he can't help but feel at least a little bit more comfortable. As the three continue walking into the school, they soon begin that of the written portion of the test, which was given out to them by that of the pro hero, the duplicate hero, Ectoplasm, as he gives that of the rules for that of the written portion of the exam, that they have that of a good 2 hours to work on the test. Not only that, they also, if they show any forms of cheating, their tests will be removed and they will basically be kicked out of the entrance exam. Make sure to take your time while you can, because not just the practical portion may be the so-called most important portion of the test. This one will basically dictate your placement in that of UA's education level though, even the hero course. Within, after hearing that, both, Mina and Kirishima couldn't help but gulp in that of fear. As for Izuku, not really worried too much after all, given that he's studied quite a bit. Also, Kochin was able to, connect to that of the internet, so that of her inner systems have that of a huge knowledge of encyclopedia knowledge after all, and information gathering as well. But he won't be using her because again, he's smarter than he looks after all. As time goes on for the written portion of the exam, Izuku finishes in that of 45 minutes. Kirishima actually finishes in that in an hour and 30 minutes. As for Mina, only by the skin of her teeth, even though she's been studying with that of Izuku, basically finishes in that of 2 minutes actually. Basically 2 minutes after Kirishima finishes his with Izuku. As they finally made it to that of the auditorium, which soon all three of them basically sit right next to each other. However, little did Izuku was a little annoyed at the fact that he had to be sit right next to that of Bakugo. With then soon Mina noticing that of Bakugo, giving Izuku that of the death glare look, as she couldn't help but get annoyed at the fact that Bakugo is basically constantly looking at Izuku like he wants to murder him. But then Kirishima realizing, I'm guessing that this is the guy that that Mito Bro was talking about. The guy that's kind of annoying him at his junior high, that won't leave him be and kind of sees him as basically a competition, threat to him to becoming a hero. Even though that shouldn't be the issue though. As then soon a spotlight goes onto the podium in the auditorium, as soon somebody comes up below the stage, as he being a man wearing that of a leather jacket, leather pants, and that of combat boots, as he has that of a speaker around his neck, as he has that of slick back spiky hair, and also wearing that of yellow aviator sunglasses. This being the vocal hero, President Mike, with Izuku couldn't help but fanboy overseeing that of President Mike as he listens to his podcast every morning after all on the way to school. With then soon Mina couldn't help but basically giggle at the fact that Izuku is fanboying. Even Kirishima couldn't help but think that it's kind of weird that Izuku knows President Mike knows every hero that they see. Guess it just shows on how much of a hero nerd he is. With Bakugo quite goddamn annoyed at that. With then President Mike saying, "Alright listeners, it's your DJ for the evening, President Mike. I hope you're all ready for the practical portion of the exam. Come on, let me hear it." With then soon nobody basically speak up saying, Alright, I see. Nobody's too enthusiastic. I can work with that. But I hope you're ready for what's to come, though. With then soon pulling out that of remote, as then a screen comes down showing that of a presentation of the exam. With then President Mike begins to go over it as many slides begin to show themselves. First, you'll be taking part in that of urban battles. In this exam, you'll be located in different zone spots. See on your card, you'll be seeing on which zone you'll be in this test area. Within Izuku looking down saying, Within soon looking at where Kirishima and Mina are, as then saying, hey, we're in the same spot, Mina. Saying, oh, cool, that's awesome. I'm so excited since we're together, Mito. Within Kirishima saying, oh man, I'm in a different area actually. With then soon Bakugo commenting to himself, so basically they kept the distance from those who are actually in the same school. Those who are actually in the same schools will be in different areas, making sure that we didn't work with those who are friends. Or almost thought about that. Within, after making that comment, Izuku wanted to say something, but refrained from saying anything back, thinking that Bakugo's not worth it right now. Within, soon, President Mike saying, in these test areas, you'll be facing against that of a group of robots, ranging from that of 1-pointer, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers. Each robot ranked is basically difficult, based on how difficult they are to take down. So, the more points you have and the more difficult the robot is, the larger total of points you gain. So I hope that you're ready for what's to come and to risk it all in case you need to. With then, soon, everybody's still quiet before then a person basically stands up and raises his hand, as then he's saying, I have a question, with it saying, caller, hit me. You only brought up that of 3 robots, even though on the presentation there's 4. But on our test sheets, there's not a sign about that of the 4th robot. If this is again, we are applicants trying to get into the most prestigious school. For such a school as UA to keep such crucial information out of their test sheets is unacceptable. And then soon, pointing at that of Izuku saying, and you have been muttering and distracting many of the other participants. If you are not going to take this seriously, then leave. With then, soon, as Izuku was kind of looking down at that, as he kind of feeling somewhat nervous. With then, soon, Mina stands up and was about to defend that of Izuku before then somebody else beat her to the punch, saying, hey Hey, shut your damn face, Four Eyes. So what? You really think Deku out of everybody here is making the most noise? He may be a shitty nerd and annoying ass one at that, but he would take this shit damn seriously. Don't ever jump to conclusions when you can, asshole. Within, after saying his piece, Bakugo soon sat back down. Within, soon, Izuku alongside Mina were completely caught off guard. As for Kirishima, he couldn't help but say, "Whoa, he defended you, Mito bro. That's pretty manly of him." But then Izuku couldn't help but comment saying, "Yeah, Kachan has never done that for me, not even once." With then soon Mina saying, "Guess there's a first time for everything. You gonna be okay?" Saying, "Yeah, I am, Mina. Thanks." With then soon Person Mike saying, Now, calm down. As for your question, young listener, I was just about to get to that actually. The fourth robot is actually worth 0 points. Within hearing this, many people actually couldn't help but, comment about this and were confused before bringing up the remote once again, putting more and more attention on that to the 0-pointer, saying, this robot here is more of an obstacle. I mean, you could take it on and beat it if you can, but you wouldn't get any villain points from it, just letting you know. With then, soon after saying that, Kochin soon speaks up to Izuku saying, Izuku, there's a double meaning behind his words. With then, Izuku mentally speaking saying, what do you mean, Kochin? Saying, I mean, there's most likely that of a secondary function behind besides just being that of an obstacle in a robot that's worth no points. Just in case, if it appears, try and see that there is a double meaning behind it. If you can't find it, I will help you in that of analyzation as well. With then soon Izuku nodding, saying, thanks, Kochin. Appreciate that. With then soon, President Mike speaks up once again, saying, now, with all that said, I hope you all better go and change into that of whatever you're going to be wearing for the practical exam. And let me give you at least some words of advice. In the words of our great alma mater here at UA, one who goes beyond their limits and strives to the best will always stand up top. That's the words behind Go Beyond Plus Ultra. As he says this with that of a loud booming voice. Actually, it became so damn catchy to the point that everybody in the auditorium actually couldn't help but get excited. Even that of Kirishima and Mina were actually quite excited as well, catching Izuku off guard for a bit. With then Izuku, on the other hand, also excited as well, as he having that of a pretty excited smile and grin on his face. A couple minutes later, changing to that of his practical, test uniform, being that of a green tracksuit, he soon goes on that of the bus. Within, Mina sits right next to Izuku. However, Izuku got that of a pretty good look of her practical test uniform, as it's also a tracksuit. However, it really defines that it's kind of tight around that of two areas. First one being that of, Izuku, that of Mina's chest, and around that of her hips as well. With Izuku began to blush like crazy, actually, before turning around. Within, soon, Mina actually couldn't help but wonder why he basically turned around for that for. However, to her, she knows the reason why, as she couldn't help but be a little bit of a tease towards Izuku. After at least a few minute bus ride to that of their test area, within the two getting off, as Izuku couldn't help but be completely caught off guard and shocked about the front gate, about that of the gate in front of them, as Izuku couldn't help but be shocked and surprised that UA has this much money to basically make their own faux cities in their for a test area. With then soon Mina actually looking high up into that of the air, seeing on how massive the gate is, saying, wow, damn, this thing is huge. With then Izuku saying, you can say that again, Mina. With then looking around at many of their competition, seeing some who look excited, some who are getting ready, some who don't seem that of, too bothered by it, while some trying to catch their nerves after all. Within, Izuku saying, some of these people seem like they're ready to go, while some just think it's going to be all easy breezy. Within, Mina saying, can't blame them. If you worry too much, it's just going to cause you a bit of a problem after all. Within, Izuku saying, I guess you're right about that, Mina. But even so, within, soon, Kochin speaking up saying, the female known as Mino Ashido is right, Izuku. If you overwork yourself and put too much expectations on you, you will not achieve your goal. I told you, I will help you to become that of a hero. If it means taking over your body to overcome your nervousness, then so be it. I will keep my promise after all. Within, Izuku's eyes couldn't help but be shocked before saying, you don't have to do that. With then, Sumina actually couldn't help but be shocked and surprised with her eyes widening, with her black eyes widening, saying, you okay, Izuku? Saying, sorry. With then saying, oh, right, your quirk. With then, soon, everybody looking around as they all begin to whisper and making comments about Izuku, saying that he's not going to be much of a problem after all, especially given that he doesn't look like he's even trying. Within, soon, Izuku came up and say, I'm so used to people having that of a low opinion of me, even when people basically used to suck up to me at Eldera. It doesn't really matter. I've basically become quite numb to it. Within, soon, Mina placing a hand on Izuku saying, don't say that. If anything, they have no idea what they're in for. I've seen what your quirk is capable of. And they better watch out. Japan's Green Beetle is on the scene. With then, soon, Izuku couldn't help but say, do you still have to call me that? Saying, well, what else would I call you? I mean, it's way too fitting. With then having that of a curious but also somewhat mischievous look on her face. With then, soon, the doors begin to slide open. With then Mina saying, oh, it looks like it's getting ready. With then, soon, Izuku saying, yeah. As the doors open up even wider and wider, with then President Mike saying, what are you all just standing there for? There's no countdown in combat. You guys gotta get going. Go, go, go. After saying that, everybody begins to rush into that of the test area. Within Mina doing the exact same thing, having that of her special made boots for her quirk, she soon slides into that of the test area. As for Izuku, he soon transforms into that of his Green Beetle exoskeleton suit. With then soon creating that of his Beetle jet wings. But then saying, you ready, Kochin? With her saying, I am always ready, Izuku. As then flying off into the test area at blinding speeds. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. And sorry that this is a short one, and I basically left it on that of a cliffhanger to the beginning of the practical portion of the exam. I wanted to focus more on the relationship and build up between that of Izuku and Kirishima after all, especially on how Izuku being included into their little friend group before that of UA basically helps him improve quite a bit, given his quirk nerd knowledge after all, his analyzation skills. I think he would help them improve quite a bit. Hell, they would already possibly be on the level of that of after the summer camp arc, to be honest. But again, that's just my own opinion. I also did like to bring up the fact that both Izuku and Mina's relationship, given that this is the main ship in that of this what if after all, is, like I said, going to be a slow burn. I'm going to basically make it show that these two have feelings for one another, but they're not going to be aware that they have feelings for one another. Well, maybe not Izuku. He is going to have feelings for her, but he's just going to chop it up as him being nervous around her, as always. As for Mina, I don't think she's ignorant about feelings of love and all that. But for this, I think, like I said, she's going to be aware on how her feelings for Izuku is going to be. It's just going to be slow before she realizes it as more than just a mere friendship after all. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos when I upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon signing out. Later, guys, and I hope you all take care. Shiro Kitsune, you're up, my lady.
Hi, everyone. This is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!